Hello, beautiful souls. Um, well, when I say beautiful souls, this is for the people that are watching this or watching the highlights or wherever you may be watching. I'm going to make a concerted effort to to be less miserable. I looked at some of my pictures and I was like, why can't I smile? Like, why don't I smile? Why does it look like, I don't know, maybe I'm just paranoid about it. So let's not bring attention to it. Let's not manifest something that is just a story. Cool. Okay, so now what am I doing? What am I doing? So today, our topic is paralysis by analysis. Yeah, nice, sexy topic. It came to me, and I can't remember why it came to me. I think it was just something I was thinking of, and yeah, it just came to me. So we're going to do a little reset. If you are pretending wherever you are catching this, don't pretend, just be you. And hopefully, during my talking to myself or whoever, you might feel, I'm not going to say you're going to leave happier. It's a very complex emotion, it's very subjective. I think if you left this, or if I leave this feeling lighter than when I started it, which I'll let you know, then I think that's a result. So just to feel lighter than when you arrived. And so, like I said before, we've all been bitten by paralysis by analysis. And in case you're wondering what I'm looking at, I'm looking out of the window next to my desk. So I know it's a bit weird, right? Like eyes shifting everywhere. Ooh. Anyway, where was I? So yeah, we've all been bitten by paralysis by analysis. And so, or over ruminating, overthinking, whatever you want to call it, it's a loop. And you have the best of intentions of breaking free of it, but you get stuck in your head. And I think we all do that. I do it still, but I tell you what, if I could somehow describe to you how often I used to spend stuck in my head, like I don't think there are words, I don't think there is a way that I could share it. The one thing I can say though is that since I've been doing it less, lots of things have improved, like my clarity, my focus, my health. And I know I keep talking about my health, and you know, you might not have health issues, but it's been a big part of my former identity, right? Waking up with fatigue, then overthinking that, and it becomes a loop. Is it the overthinking that causes the fatigue and the disease, or is it the other way around? The reality is, for me, it was both, right? It was difficult to separate one from the other. So before I get into it, I'm just going to invite you to just take a slow, deep breath in through your nose. Notice your chest, your mouth, your jaw muscles, your face, everything. Chest. And then just breathe out through your mouth with a big sigh. Let's do it again. In through your nose. Notice any places of tension. Just notice it. Don't judge. Just let it go. Let it be. I forgot to tell you to breathe out through your mouth. Hopefully you'll remember to do that bit, otherwise you might find yourself in a bit of a pickle. But yeah, this is a space I don't pretend, and the reason it feels lighter for me is because I don't feel the need to pretend. I just sit in my truth. Sometimes I get a bit confused by what that truth is, and there may be other influences that I let dilute it, consciously or subconsciously. But yeah, I don't perform. I don't pretend. I mean, I'm just a guy in a hoodie sitting in front of his laptop, looking out the window, talking to himself. So while we're on the subject of overthinking, where is your head at right now? And I'll share where mine is at the moment. But what's going on for you? How's your day been? How is life? Where are you tracking in terms of where you want to be in your career, in your relationships, in your business, whatever it is, right? Like, how is it? What's current? What's taking headspace? And, I wish I'd had someone like this, but, maybe some words that might help. Foggy, wired, overwhelmed, don't know where to start. I get it. I hear you. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry you're feeling like that. But know that you're not alone, right? And it isn't, sometimes it is about moaning and getting it out. And, there are plenty of places to do that. And I'm sorry, but this is not it. This is not it. Not because I don't want to hear the moaning and I don't want to be a sounding board for clients and for people and friends. I am a sounding board. I'm looking at it from a place of love. Like, how did it help me? How did it serve me? And the reality is for me, just little old me, it didn't really, because negativity just bred negativity. What helped was to share it with the right people, to share it with a curiosity in mind, with a question in mind, like, okay, well, how am I feeling? Why am I feeling? What could I do to make this better? Because hard truth, there's nothing anyone else can really, really do to control your emotions and how you're feeling. But there are a series of habits and steps and resources and things that you can lean on bit by bit that allow us to help ourselves. And so, if I may, in true vulnerable fashion, I'm going to share, I think, one of the key areas where this really used to manifest. And I would say it over and over again. And I think I knew what had to be done for years, but I wasn't willing to do it. And I will say to the universal truth and you folks out on the interweb, something that I don't think I've ever said to her. So if she hears this in one way or another, um, great. And I have to give thanks to my ex-wife, because the amount of times I slept in the spare room thinking, am I going crazy? Why am I not wanted? How can I make this better? Why is she like this? Why is she like that? And on the face of it, and this is why I've created the rebuild program, and this is why I also have the Something Fun network, which is on the face of it, I had everything, right? You know, the family, the house, the car, the lifestyle, going away. On Instagram, it looked great. Well, okay, we were never influencers, right? But it probably looked like something that people would aspire to have. And it wasn't enough. And so I would get, I've not had it for ages actually. And let me know if this resonates. I would get this feeling of like a gummed up rubber ball that was like throbbing in my head. And now that I can see things clearly, now that I'm just aware and just a bit more present than I ever have been in my life, I realize I used to carry that around a lot. I think for those of you that have got kids, there's a beautiful book called Ruby's Worry, and I would love for you to read it because it helps children understand. Because you carry this around, and I didn't know how to verbalize it, and even when I thought to myself, this isn't right, there would be another part of me saying, oh, well, maybe it's just you, you know? And then the net effect was I would just become resentful. I would become resentful uh, towards those that are closest to me when I think probably all that needed to happen was we both needed to have a chat and maybe finish things sooner than we did. I realized that I'm only speaking from my, perspective, and there's always there's always two sides to every story. But for me, this had been going on for years, and that feeling, that gummed up feeling, that rubber band ball feeling in my head, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it affected everything. And the biggest thing it affected was my confidence, my self-confidence, my self-belief. And luckily I had someone around me or people around me that would help with that. But it was always surface level. I read this in a book the other day. The example is, you know, you have a hole in the fuel tank of your car. Okay, so the petrol or the gas or whatever you call it is coming out. Okay, so yeah, you could keep going to the petrol pump and you could keep refilling it more often. Well, actually, what you need to do is probably just get the leak fixed, right? And so this was affecting every area of my life. It was affecting, my job, my health, just even simple day-to-day decisions. And sometimes actually I find myself getting impatient with one of my daughters because she's very, very indecisive. And I think the work for me is I'm not getting annoyed with her because of her. I'm seeing something in me, which is that indecisiveness. And I would invite you to, break these things down. Like if you're paralyzed and your brain is full, just break it down into a simple thing. What am I thinking about? And just observe it. Like, if it helps, look at the scenario of your life on a movie screen just to give you some distance. Because when you're in it, it's like, and you go nuts. And I wouldn't wish that on anyone. Genuinely, it's a horrible, horrible feeling. And just understand there's nothing wrong with you. Yeah, it's just that you are carrying too much on your own. And maybe there are some questions around there like, I think I said this last week, and I'm going to keep saying it, right? I think this came from Dane here, amongst others, which is if it feels heavy, let it go. If it feels light, let it flow. And I mean relationships as well, right? And I'm not the one that cut the cord on it. I am the one that probably drove my ex to cut the cord on it just through my behavior. And I'm grateful that she did. And I remember being paralyzed by fear because of how you know, how my financial position came to be right in the middle of the divorce. I was in, I was nowhere. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. I was stuck. And I'm so, so grateful that I learned that lesson because I'm really, really clear about what's important to me, what matters and what doesn't. And so all this is when you melt and you stare off into space, it's your brain just trying to keep you safe because you're processing so much all the time. And I don't want to put labels on it, whether it's ADD, ADHD, or anything in between, right? Like, I don't need it. They don't, whatever it is, I deal with it. It doesn't define my identity. And what I just realized is what are the tools? More often than not, the tools are really good quality sleep, less caffeine, good, a good nourishing diet. It's functional. It's not Jamie Oliver or Gordon Ramsay or whatever else, but I know how it works for my brain and my body. And so that feeling of shutdown, that feeling of safety, sometimes the same feeling as being stuck. We just don't know what it is. We can't think of the words because we're so stuck in our head. I used to be so stuck in my head. If you asked me how to explain it, I couldn't. I just couldn't. And so you're not broken. You're not needing to be fixed. It is what it is. Just notice it. The first thing is get yourself out of the headspace of denial, right? Just accept that this is happening. Once you start to do that, that's turning a corner. And so I suppose the question I've got is what's one area, and there may be one, there probably is more than one. So what's the area, or what are the areas where overthinking is costing you progress, stopping you from doing stuff, stopping you from moving forwards? Gosh, this cup's bigger than I thought it was. It's deep, like a valley. But seriously, where do you want to get to? Where is overthinking stopping you or slowing your progress? Notice it. That's just the first thing. Just break it down. We don't need to worry about fixing stuff. Maybe there isn't even anything to fix necessarily, but just notice it. So, where in your life does paralysis by analysis show up? And what would it look like to progress past that, to get that momentum back, to get your, what was it Mike Myers used to say in Wayne's World? Is it mojo? Get your mojo back. How are you going to get your mojo back? Because I seriously lost my mojo when I was just overthinking relationships or situations in life or what to do about work or the job or my career or whatever. And I will say I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in, right? And don't be wrong, I've had shit happen to me. I've worked hard and whatever else. But at the moment, I'm lucky and I'm grateful. I'm like really grateful to God or the universe or whatever. And it's not that straightforward for other people. It wasn't straightforward for me at certain points in my life. And you know what? That's okay. That really, really is okay. Sometimes it's just about giving it space. Sometimes we're not ready. Sometimes we know what the answer is, but we're not ready to see it or hear it or do anything about it, right? But if you just visualize, if you just imagine what would happen, what could I achieve, what could I create if I wasn't frozen by fear or this safety mechanism in my brain saying, okay, let's just stop right there. What would it look like? And when I ask you, what would it look like use your senses, touch it, taste it, feel it, smell it, get really, really vivid. If you need to close your eyes and do it and smile like a mad person when people are watching you, if you're somewhere in public, do that. Feel it. What would that progress feel like? It's super important. It's super important, not just to recognize where you are, but also to build a really clear emotion led view of where you want to be. Like, where do you want to go? What does momentum look like? Yeah. What is that future version of you doing, feeling, thinking? What does the progress look like? So for me, um, I've managed to engineer my life in such a way that I'm really, or I think I'm clear. I think I'm the most clear I ever have been on what my purpose is and what I desire to do and what I love to do and what I desire to do and what I choose to do and with whom I choose to spend my time. And remember the things that you do, the people that you spend time with, like they're seasons. And I think sometimes I used to do this. You put a finality on it. Oh, this person did this to me, it's over. You know, I never want to see from them or speak to them or hear from them again, or I'll never ever do this again. Like, don't just get rid of never. Just be open. That's that's what I do. So I'm pretty open. I'm pretty clear on what I love to do. Is it smooth sailing? No. Is it easy? No. Because remember, we live in a world where sometimes we do have dependency and a reliance on other people. It's absolutely not. It's like hard as something that's very hard, like a wall. But it's possible. And the thing is, the recognition of where we're at in terms of my brain's shutting down because I'm thinking too much, or I can't cope, or I can't. It's actually not even about I. It is just too much for a person to just silently carry on. And the thing is, the more successful you are, the more you almost take it as a badge of look at how much stuff I can carry on my own. It's not cool. You'll break. Your health will suffer. Like it doesn't serve anyone. And it's a bit like when you're on the plane and keep harping on about this, and you got kids or vulnerable people, and it's like, put your oxygen mask on first, because if you don't put yours on first, how can you help anyone else? It's like not possible, right? So, if overthinking everything is a pattern in your life, then being aware of it is first step. And that that awareness is a massive step. Everything else after that, piece, really, really easy. Because then you're in the known world, you know what's going on, and you can seek resources and support and whatever, right? But if you just sit there suffering in silence, like I did for a long, 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 long time, it will sit in your body at a cellular level. And I pray that it doesn't for you, but for me it did. And so we've got a few minutes left, but I think insights or action. I'd love to see in the comments what was an insight or an action or something that you picked up from this. Okay. And question for you, what's one small step that you can take in the next 24 hours to break this loop of overthinking? Because there's a loop and it can be broken, right? You might not feel like it can, but it can, I promise you. So, making a phone call, having a difficult conversation, sending an email, starting something, stopping something, asking for help. Those are just some basic examples of a commitment. And the thing is that the biggest promise you can make is not to your kids, it's not to your partner, it's not to your employer, it's to you. So make it something that you're going to stick to, because that's going to be the first start of your momentum, right? What can I do? What's one thing that I'm going to do to get myself out of paralysis by analysis and breaking this overthinking loop, and commit to it? This is why I don't believe in New Year's resolutions. Like, I posted about it last year, and then someone was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to do it January," and I was like, "It's bollocks. What is different about January 1st compared to June the 1st? Just a day. All right, it's darker and more miserable in the UK on January 1st than it is June the 1st. But there is no difference. So keep the promise to yourself. Yeah, please, please, not for me, but for you. So thank you for listening or watching this or whatever. Um, it's not hype, it's not therapy. There are people that are professionals in that, and there is a time and a place for that. I've had therapy. It's definitely not hype. Like, it's a real thing. And so if you feel like you're at the top of your game, but you're overthinking and no one really gets it, this is the space for you. This is why this exists, because it means something to me, right? And all right, Something Fun Network makes it sound like a porn site, but there's actually a real thread here, right? Which is, getting to the soul of things. So this is just a space where we get to be human, because it's tiring being at the top of your game. It's tiring, like, always performing. So if today hit you somewhere and you want to go deeper, just message me. I might not have the answers. What I can do is listen. So same time next Wednesday. Bring yourselves, bring a coffee. I mean, you saw me drinking. Just leave lighter. Thank you very much. Love you all. Be well.